All right, y'all. Welcome to the Arsenal analysis. Today we're talking about Manchester City versus Arsenal. Um, the nil-nil draw between Manchester City and Arsenal. Many touted for um, a deciding game in this three-way title race that we have going on right now. The result that Liverpool is currently 2 points clear. And with Arsenal in second and Manchester City in third, 3 points behind the leaders Liverpool. Um, Going through a lot of this match reaction, there's been a lot of different takes. I think for the neutral, this was an extremely boring game. But for City and Arsenal, very frustrating, complicated, a lot to dig through, I think, in a lot of ways. So we're going to get into it in the Arsenal analysis, and let's set the stage. Coming into this game, obviously, the pretext is that Liverpool earlier in the day had gone clear at the top with a victory over Brighton. Um, Not a convincing win, I don't think by any means, but Liverpool have been doing that all year. They've had a lot of luck, a lot of things go their way, a lot of things that didn't go their way earlier in the year. A lot of injuries. All three of the clubs that are going for the title this year have quite a few injuries over long periods of time in the season. Really intriguing 9 games to go here. And we'll see how it all shakes out. But early in the day, Liverpool went clear, and then it was up to City and Arsenal who is going to take the mantle to challenge, basically, and set up for the run in. Coming into the game, Manchester City, I think, had a few injuries. John Stones was only able to make the bench. Obviously, Grealish is coming back. Wasn't expected to play very much. They have De Bruyne and Haaland, and a lot of their key players. A few defenders are out. Um, so City a little bit banged up coming into the game. People coming, some of their key players coming back into form after long absences. Arsenal as well. Saka. We had a lot of injuries during the international break. Saka, Gabriel, Magalhaes, Jesus coming back into the team after a long spell out. Still trying to get his form. Martinelli, crucially, not able to make the starting 11, which gives Arsenal a lot of pace and directness on the counter, which would prove to be key in this game. So coming into the game, we had a lot of there was the lineups for City and Arsenal were muted to say the least, and that was the way that the game started to play out. A lot of the commentary on the back end, I've seen some commentary from City fans, some commentary from Arsenal fans. For Arsenal fans, I think the way to think about this game is that for both City and Arsenal, as I said, they're very complicated. You could see this as a very tactical game, or you could see this as a very kind of just straight boring game. I think for the neutral, this is boring. For Arsenal City, this is tactical, frustrating. Um, Arsenal were not good on the day. The game started out. There was a lot of City and Arsenal are kind of have City for a long time, and now Arsenal has started to become masters of things like tactical fouling, rotational fouling, trying to slow the game down, trying to control the game. Arsenal couldn't control the game in any portion of this game. This was a game dominated by Manchester City. The possession stats bear that out. The chances that Arsenal did have were on the counter, and they didn't really do well with a lot of their chances on the counter. They couldn't keep the ball for very long periods of time. They couldn't push City back into their half and dominate the ball. And when City did have the ball, Arsenal had a lot of instances where they tried to slow the game down and foul. That was I think, for example, Gabriel Jesus had a number of yellow card offenses that Anthony Taylor, the referee, decided not to just to focus on, and tried to make the game not decided by the referee and try to play on. To his credit in some cases, but City fans were definitely frustrated. We can see where that frustration comes from. I think Arsenal fans as well, from a partisan perspective, there were some fouls that could have been yellows for City as well. There were some fouls that did go for yellows for City. Both, playing out this, making sure that there was to minimize any damage that could have come from a counterattack situation. But just overall, I don't know. It was very clear in this game that Arsenal were, and Bernardo Silva addressed this in his interview after the game. Arsenal had a combination of how they're going to defend this game. They're pressing high. And many times City would have the ball in their own half. You'd see 5 or 6 Arsenal players in the picture, covering very high. And so the pressing game was going. And then as soon as City broke the line, they would fall back all the way into basically park the bus, stack the box with defenders, banks of 5 type of structure, with no outball really. Kai Havertz was playing the 9 on the day, and he was sitting back next to Jesus and the other midfielders in the middle, trying to make sure that all the angles were covered. And they did a really good job of that. There was no moments where Arsenal seemed very pressured. There was a couple of nearly moments for City, but Arsenal did an incredible job of defending Saliba, Gabriel, and Declan Rice in the middle. Saliba got the man of the match. A really stout defensive performance that we've come to expect from Arsenal this season. So no surprises there, but this was against City away. City in the ascendancy for most of the game, with most of the control for most of the game, and Arsenal kind of realized it wasn't going our way, and especially in that first half. And we tried to chop the game up with fouling and trying to kind of control City's threat, which we did a great job of. And I think Arsenal gets credit for that. City, for their part, with all that possession, they had to find a way around or through, and they just couldn't do it. A lot of crosses into the box for Haaland, who was dealt with well. Trying to play through the blocks, they couldn't do it. Arsenal would win the ball, but this was kind of the theme for the day. Arsenal would eventually win the ball, but they just couldn't keep it. Even in good situations where on the transition, Odegaard would get the ball, Saka would get the ball. Our defenders or Raya would kick the ball long when they did have an opportunity to kind of play backwards, try to possess or on the back, try to play through City's press. It seemed like on the day Arsenal were extremely averse to trying to play through City's press. We did it a couple times, and actually those times resulted in good chances when we were able to play through City's press. There was one great chance in the second half where White put the ball into the box. I believe is in the second half, where White put the ball into the box for Jesus, and it came for a shot, but nothing came of it. Arsenal lacked a cutting edge. City lacked a cutting edge. Most of the action was in Arsenal's half, with City possessing the ball but not doing much with it. So in that perspective, a lot of the criticism is coming for Arsenal for parking the bus. We've seen teams win leagues by parking the bus, by being stout defensively and then hitting on the counterattack. Chelsea's league victories were like that. City's been stout for a long time, but they possess and control the game. It's just one of the things that Arsenal fans have been waiting for a long time to see from an Arsenal team, to be able to go away to an Etihad or to an Anfield and be able to stand up defensively and not concede. And we didn't concede, and City didn't concede either, but that was mostly because Arsenal lacked cutting edge on the counter. So, I think this was a game that a lot of folks were hoping for some fireworks, but these teams were not prepared to give up their defensive solidity or their control of the game for that moment of brilliance that could have put their team over the edge. And so they shared the points. Arsenal happier with that point, and I think that's where a lot of the frustration from the City camp comes from. If City was ahead of Arsenal, it wouldn't be the end of the world. Even if both teams had lost this game, it wouldn't have been the end of the world. And so maybe there's where some of this frustration comes from as well, not only from Arsenal but from City as well. City's at home. You have to. It's their prerogative to push the issue, to force the issue, and try to find a way through. City is one of the best attacking teams that this world has ever seen, and they couldn't make it past Arsenal's deep block. So and even in the second half, Arsenal were pressing high. They did press high throughout the game. It wasn't just Arsenal sitting back and City possessing the ball around our half for the entire time. Arsenal, especially in the second half, Arsenal started to get a lot of joy from their press, winning the ball high up the field. It's just that when those moments happened, we just couldn't find that pass. We couldn't find. There was maybe this is part of why. This is part of the structural way that Arteta set up, and where some of the City frustration comes from, which is warranted. That we did not have those players ready to bomb forward on a counterattack. And so that conservative outlook from Arsenal kind of played through. We were pressing, but we weren't prepared to put out the stall and send players forward in such a way that could allow us to get countered. And that led to one misplaced pass. The ball before the ball to get someone into the box just wasn't there. Ardegaard had a couple of golden opportunities. Once where Havertz was caught on his heels, put Havertz through on goal, but dribbled through to Raya. Odegaard had a couple of passes where he just kind of muffed it, just scuffed it, and it went straight to a City defender instead of a diagonal ball that could have proved dangerous for City. So. No, just a sloppy game from Arsenal, and I think they deserve more credit for the way they defended and the way that they pressed, because that seemed to have been the game plan. But City were just better at controlling this game and more confident in possession, and able to keep the ball in such a way that that just skewed the possession stats in a really disgusting way for City. I think Arsenal is much happier with this point. We stay ahead of City. We stay within striking distance of Liverpool. There's 9 games to go in this title race, and it can go any which way. But just to kind of cap off the game, better point for Arsenal. Arsenal is not celebrating this point. You look at the players' faces after the game. There was a sneaking confidence that perhaps we could beat City at the Etihad. This is one of the stepping stones to being a top team that can go for a Premier League or a Champions League every year. You need to go to your title rivals and beat them at their place. But at the end of the day, I don't think if you took City, Liverpool, Arsenal, any of these clubs that are competing for the league, if you told them that they would get 4 points off of their 2 title rivals at the beginning of the year, that's a tough proposition to turn down. Sure, we should win every game because we're the title contenders. Okay, but you're not going to win every game. This is the Premier League, and this is City at the Etihad. We did the job at home. We almost did the job away. But these you can't sacrifice the downside for what the upside of a win might have been. If Arsenal getting a win, there's still 9 days to go, 9 games to go, and as we said, the twists and turns are gonna be relentless over these 9 games. And as we've said, if Arsenal don't win the title this year, it's not going to be because we didn't go and get points from City or Liverpool, or these big club rivalries, which has been our bugaboo over the years. It's going to be because that lapse of desire of concentration against a Fulham, a drop point here or there at home. So. It's really tough to complain as an Arsenal fan. You have to be happy that we're going and getting after. You have to understand the history of how we came through these later Wenger years, going to the Etihad, going to Anfield, going to, even places like Manchester United and getting slapped. Chelsea getting slapped. These fixtures are important for your confidence going forward, and this is going to be something that Arsenal can build on into this final stretch of the season. So I don't think any complaints for Arsenal from Arsenal fans at this point. And now we just have to do the job and be as good as City and Liverpool. And if Arsenal is as good as City and Liverpool down this stretch, um, the team that draws or loses a game is gonna lose the title. So it's up to Arsenal to. We're in that position, but now we have to finish. How does the title race set up now? Obviously, Liverpool ahead. Anything can happen. Everyone's been talking about how Liverpool has an advantage based on their fixtures. As we said, Arsenal may not win the league this year, not because of what our result was against City and Liverpool. It may be just because of Fulham. And every team is going to have that day where they turn up and it's not happening, and a fluky goal off of a corner, and there you are. You dropped a point or you dropped three. And that's how title races go. And that's how the Premier League goes. This is why it's such a big honor to win the Premier League, because you have to be almost perfect in order to do it, especially now in the era of City and the super teams. So this is the job now. You have to be perfect. And I think Arsenal does have that platform to be perfect. Every Arsenal fan, I think, is growing in confidence and growing in that sneaky feeling that we have that metal, we have that steel now that in prior years, if we were there, it was because we were playing beautiful football, but we always knew that we had that trip up. We didn't have that platform, that really solid basis on which to build, that Gabriel, Saliba, Rice, even, Jorginho at times, with Partey coming back, White, defensively strong, that gives us a platform to nick a game here and there, or when we're on our day, absolutely blow teams away. So, and that means, if you blow teams away, this is what City did last year. Had a whole bunch of games down the stretch, but they made it a habit. They would blow a team away, 60 minutes in. This is what Arsenal's been doing the last couple weeks before the international break, blowing teams away, getting their starters off at 60 minutes, and then moving into the next game. And that's a way you can sustain success. Even when the games come thick and fast every 4 or 5 days. So that must be the formula going forward. But Arsenal fans are confident, and we'll see if this team can do it. And I think even if we don't do it this year, I think we have a great platform moving into the years into the future. But Liverpool in the driving seat now. If they don't lose, they will win. I think Liverpool will drop points. It'll be about which team, City or Arsenal, can be consistent enough to pip them at the end. So we'll see how the rest of the title race goes, but this was a must not lose, I think, for Arsenal, not just points wise, emotional wise. Arsenal did not lose. Arsenal went to the Etihad. Arsenal got a point. Arsenal took 4 points off of City this year. Arsenal took 4 points off of Liverpool here this year. This is the headline. We are title contenders, and we will be title contenders going forward. And I'm excited to see what this team is capable of down the stretch. Which players will step up? From Arsenal, City, and Liverpool? Smith Rowe, Nketiah, Reece Nelson, Trossard, these players that are on the fringes, who will be able to step up? We have Partey coming back. We have Timber coming back. We have Tomiyasu coming back. Who are the players that haven't played a role this year that are going to start to play a role at the end? Jesus even. Can Jesus strike into form over this period, whether it's in the Champions League or the Premier League? So, a good point for Arsenal. We're feeling confident. And we're excited for these matches coming up. It's going away to City has always been a really big challenge, and we're seeing an Arsenal team now that is able to come through these challenges unscathed, not asserting dominance yet, but coming away unscathed and able to assert a title challenge, doing the job, and that's all you can really ask. Slowing down the game, controlling the game, boring for the neutral, but can this be a platform on which a title run is constructed? So that's the Arsenal analysis for today. Moving on to a busy April and a busy May, and we'll see where Arsenal can end up this season. Bye for now.